Alrighty, so this thing is really crazy. Um, so this is a pyramid I made, an Orgone pyramid accumulator, and I've got a pyramid underneath it that I made. And this thing here is another mold that's like a donut mold, like a bundt cake kind of mold. And boy, oh boy, this thing is insane. So I've got a Mobius coil on the bottom one, quite big. It's a big circular wrap that I've made. I'll have to take a picture of that at some point. This is this pyramid here. It's quite dense on the inside, and what I did is I got a Mobius coil in the middle, in the inside, and I wrapped it in a Mobius, or I wrapped Lumarian crystal in a Mobius coil, and I've got it. It's pretty decent size. It's in the center there, and what I've got here is, this thing is insane. This is the violet ray wand. This is what really takes it up a notch. I mean, this thing is where you get the electron. Like this stuff on its own will already produce quite a lot of that Orgone energy stuff material. Already puts off great vibe. Does great work. Breaks up the chemtrails. Gets rid of a lot of nonsense, really, when you're around EMF. Some people are more sensitive to it, or some people not so much. I'm not horribly affected by it, but I definitely notice it. And this thing gets rid of these definitely get rid of that very much. But this thing, so this is running. Usually, it's hooked up to this plasma wand, and you can maybe see it if I can get it here. Get a little bit of electricity on this. I don't know, it doesn't want to maybe do it as much right now, but usually it becomes very purple and very clearly. There you go. It's kind of got that purple glow. But this is usually in there, and it creates quite a, it's like a plasma bulb. And that plasma bulb violet ray technology is really healing stuff. It is very relaxing. Very great stuff. However, in this particular case, I've got those Mobius coils from this pyramid and from that bundt cake mold running directly into the violet ray wand, and it's quite silent, but boy, it is not weak. This thing, it will be painfully electric. Like, so you can probably, maybe I can get you to get a good view of it. But if I get up here, this thing is sending electricity. Ow, that's painful. And so it's funny, like the electricity is not nearly as strong here on the sides. It's not, you can feel it, but it's not painful. But once you get up here toward the tip where I've got the crystal pointing, and I've got the Mobius coil and the crystal pointing, Mobius coil is deep in the center, but the crystal's pointing this way. It's only one terminated, and the termination's this point, at this direction. It's even started to discolor some of the mold, like toward the top. You might be able to see that like speckled look. The electricity is so strong, if I try to touch this, it will shock me quite badly. And it hurts. Ow. Yeah, the electrons off this thing are something serious. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the electricity coming off this. This thing is a tensor ring. It really just amps up the energy. It really directs it nicely. But look at this. How is the electricity going through this like this? That's what I want to know. I did not expect this at all. And this thing is serious. Look at all that electricity. And this thing gives off a electromagnetic field that is just amazing. I mean, it's shocking. This is like a Tesla coil almost. How that's possible, I do not know, but it is intense. It is intense. Ow, so painful. Like, that is shocking me, something serious. That right there is like vibrating my whole arm. That's insane. It's just insane. I've never made any device that... Sorry about the focusing. I don't know. My camera's being ridiculous. I don't know what its problem is. There we go. I fixed it. There's a button that was on. But this thing is something serious. I've never... And it's even shocked down here. I mean, it'll shock down here a little bit. But nothing like the tip here. This is where all the power is coming out of. And I'm convinced that that quartz crystal in there, electricity runs through quartz. I mean, that's what my computer's running on, you know. This thing works, and it works really well. And it makes some incredible, incredible skies. You know, I mean, it's just beautiful kinds of cumulus structured clouds that come rolling in every single time you turn it on. Every time I turn on these devices, you know, I'm not stupid. I'll leave the thing off for some time and see how it's affected. There won't be any clouds. You'll see the planes start spraying those chemtrails, and it's like a war in the sky. They'll start spraying the chemtrails, and as soon as I'm tired of watching that, I'll flick these things on, get them hooked up, and boom, it'll burst all that stuff away and bring in those beautiful cumulus clouds like you remember when you were a kid that you don't see anymore because geoengineering is getting rid of them. But boy, oh boy, you can't argue with these skies. They just can't. They're just gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous skies. And, you know, Wilhelm Reich was working with this Orgone accumulator stuff for a long time, and I'm just amazed that I came upon it. But I make these things. I've made them for years. I've made Orgone devices for probably about 7 years. I make these little ones. These are little tower busters, you know, little tower buster. I've made these for ages and busted towers with them. You just bury them, you know, not just towers, but anywhere you want to create sort of a better frequency and absorb some of the negative radiation. But really, if you want to get serious, you got to make something like I made here, where you've got Mobius coils wrapping crystals inside the mold, where the mold's put a good squeeze on it, creates a strong electromagnetic effect, and then when you run the actual electricity through them, outrageous. I mean, this thing is insane. I'm going to make, this is about to be child's play comparison to the chembuster I'm about to make. I'm excited. I'm going to make a chembuster that is the most powerful orgone I've ever made. I've been waiting. I've been compiling information on how to do this for some time and just learning the different methods. And I'm probably going to run like quite a lot of Mobius coil into it, into the pipes. The pipes themselves are going to be wrapped to where I want to be able to run electricity through this thing where I can touch the pipes and it's just going to be like, you know, it's going to be like a Tesla coil, but pipe oriented. And going to have a double terminated crystal in each pipe at the base of it. The whole thing's going to be in a 5-gallon bucket on a squeeze, just like the normal chembuster pipes. And I bought copper for it, and I've thought about using the galvanized pipe because it's much cheaper, the zinc galvanized, but I'm going to go with the copper piping on this one. Even though it's more expensive, it's like a fortune in copper, sadly. It's a real thick grade copper. It's going to be really nice. But it's worth it. The thing is going to be basically eliminating, there will never be a chemtrail in the sky again. This won't be happening anymore. There will not be. I've been in a war with these geoengineering pilots, whoever they are, and wherever they come from, whether it's military, the UN, I don't know who is really fully behind it all, but the geoengineering pilots, they definitely must know who I am, because every time I come back here and start putting up my Orgone devices again, they're like flying over the house all day looking at it like, what is this thing? It's hilarious. It's just a phenomenon of people who work with Orgone. They know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody else probably think you're crazy, but I definitely am aware of what's happening. It's funny stuff.